Well, you know, the grave of a Negro League baseball pioneer is going to be marked and unveiled this weekend at a special ceremony in Dubuque more than 100 years after the player's death.
KWWL's Tara Konieczny has more on his important role in history.
Local research historian John Pregler was moved by George Jesse Jackson's story and wanted to pay proper respects to his legacy in American baseball over 100 years later.
Baseball is an American game, and it involved all Americans, and it's time they all get recognized.
George Jesse Jackson spent his offseason in Dubuque while playing for the Chicago Union Giants in the early 1900s. He was nicknamed Cannonball for his exceptional pitching skills.
You had to put up or shut up on the baseball field. Some of these guys like Cannonball Jackson were known as very, very good pitchers that were hard to hit.
Pregler views Jackson and his team as trailblazers in black baseball, continuing to play against white teams at a time when racism was prevalent.
They still were out there competing, playing on white teams, playing against white teams, including here in Dubuque.
Pregler points out that many Black League baseball players were buried in unmarked graves across the United States. Jackson, who was murdered in Dubuque during his offseason in 1924, was laid to rest at Linwood Cemetery without an identification marker.
It shows other African Americans in Dubuque that they have history and that they were part of America and our history and our growth, including our baseball history, which we've always identified as our national game.
After years of research, Pregler returned to the beginning to understand Jackson's story. Once he found the burial site, he knew a proper headstone was deserved for Jackson's contribution to baseball and Dubuque history.
We're all interested in our past to know who we are. African Americans want to know their early history, and so much of it is unknown. And so it's so important to give these examples to others.
This weekend, George Cannonball Jackson will finally be honored with a marker that represents his legacy and contributions to baseball history. In Dubuque, Tara Konieczny, News 7 KWWL.